The night that broke me. It usually doesn't start with a bang. It starts with a whisper, an almost invisible shift that leaves you wide awake at 2:43 a.m., wondering what happened to your life. That's what happened to Karen. Karen is 45, divorced. A full-time working mom with 2 teenagers and a dog named Roscoe. She's always been what you might call put together. Lists on her fridge. Vitamins in her drawer. A gratitude journal on her nightstand. She doesn't drink much, eats mostly organic, walks every morning before work. She's not a health nut, just someone who likes to be in control. But lately, control has been slipping through her fingers, and she doesn't know why. Started quietly. First, she couldn't fall asleep easily, her thoughts would spin even when she was exhausted. Then, she began waking up in the middle of the night with her heart racing, her body drenched in sweat. She'd try to go back to sleep, only to stare at the ceiling until her alarm rang. Coffee became a crutch. Her patience wore thin. Her usual sense of calm vanished. One morning, after yelling at her son over spilled cereal, she sat in the car and cried before work. "I'm losing it," she whispered to herself. "I don't even know who I am anymore." She went to her doctor. Blood pressure, normal. Blood sugar, normal. Thyroid, normal. Everything was normal, except her life didn't feel normal anymore. Not once did anyone mention the word perimenopause. Karen's not alone. Every day, thousands of women like her, especially between the ages of 45 and 55, wake up to a life they barely recognize. They're not sick. But they're not well either. Something's shifting. Something they didn't expect. We've been taught that menopause is the moment your periods stop. But what no one tells you is that the real transformation often begins years before that final menstrual cycle. That phase is called perimenopause, and it can last anywhere from 4 to 10 years, and here's the kicker, most women don't even know they're in it. They think they're just tired, or stressed, or not themselves lately. They blame their jobs, their kids, their relationships, their lack of willpower. But behind the scenes, a hormonal revolution is underway. Your body is recalibrating, your brain is rewiring, and your sleep, your precious sleep, is usually the first thing to fall apart. This is not a coincidence. It's biology. During perimenopause, levels of estrogen and progesterone fluctuate dramatically. These hormones don't just regulate your menstrual cycle, they also affect your mood, your temperature regulation, your metabolism, and yes, your ability to fall and stay asleep. You might notice night sweats, sudden anxiety, brain fog, memory lapses, or changes in your sex drive, all before your period becomes irregular. But for many women, it's the sleep that unravels everything else. You can handle stress. You can survive tough seasons. But when you can't rest, when your body won't let you repair overnight, it's like trying to run a marathon every day with an empty tank. Karen never imagined that her sleep would be the first casualty of perimenopause. She didn't know that hormonal changes could wake her up in the middle of the night drenched in sweat, or that anxiety would rise like a tide at bedtime. She just thought she was failing, at life, at parenting, at being strong. She's not failing. She's in a transition, and maybe you are too. If you're between 45 and 65 and you've been feeling off, but can't quite explain it, this series was made for you. Over the next episodes, we're going to talk about what's really happening to your body and your brain. We'll talk about sleep, hormones, anxiety, sex, relationships, brain fog, and healing. We'll share stories from real women who've walked this road and came out the other side stronger. And we'll unpack how you can reclaim your health and your sense of self, without shame, without fear, and without pretending everything's okay when it's not. This journey might start in the dark, but there is light on the other side. And it begins with understanding. So stay with me, let this be your safe place. Subscribe now, so you don't miss the next chapter. Leave a comment if you've ever felt like Karen, and know you're not alone, because the truth is, this is not the end. It's a beginning point too. Perimenopause, the missing link to your sleepless nights. Have you ever laid awake at 3 a.m., staring at the ceiling, wondering why your once perfect sleep routine has suddenly betrayed you? You've tried lavender, sleep meditations, cutting caffeine, and counting sheep, but nothing seems to work anymore. If this sounds familiar, and no one has ever mentioned perimenopause to you, it's time to fill in the missing link. Most women have heard about menopause. But perimenopause? It's still the silent shadow that creeps into women's lives somewhere between their early 40s and mid-50s. And one of its most overlooked, frustrating symptoms is insomnia, persistent, soul-draining sleep disruption. Let's be clear, this isn't just getting older. This isn't just stress. Perimenopause directly impacts the hormones that regulate your sleep, especially estrogen, progesterone, melatonin, and cortisol. Understanding these changes could be the key to finally getting a full night's rest again. Why can't I sleep like I used to? For decades, sleep may have come easily. You could doze off during a movie or fall asleep before your head hit the pillow. But somewhere around age 45, that began to change. You wake up drenched in sweat. You toss and turn. You feel exhausted but wired at the same time. Sound familiar? For many women, this is the first sign that perimenopause has begun, and here's the kicker: these symptoms often start years before your periods stop. You may still have a monthly cycle, but your hormones are already dancing to a new tune, the hormone breakdown. What's really happening? Let's dive deeper into how specific hormones affect sleep, and how perimenopause throws everything off balance. Point 1. Estrogen isn't just about fertility, it plays a role in regulating body temperature and maintaining serotonin levels, which affect mood and sleep. As estrogen declines, you may experience more night sweats, increased anxiety, and disrupted REM sleep. Point 2. Progesterone, often called the calming hormone, progesterone has natural sedative properties. It helps you fall asleep and stay asleep. But in perimenopause, progesterone levels drop more sharply than estrogen, leaving your system without this crucial sleep supporter. Point 3. Melatonin is your internal clock's best friend. But as estrogen declines, melatonin production can become irregular. You may start feeling sleepy at strange times or not sleepy at all when you should be. Point 4. Cortisol, the stress hormone. During perimenopause, cortisol levels can become erratic, especially if you're already sleep deprived. This leads to a vicious cycle. Stress causes poor sleep, and poor sleep increases stress. When these four hormones fall out of rhythm, your body no longer knows when to rest, when to rise, or how to restore itself. Karen's story. Karen, 45, was a marketing executive and a mom of two. She prided herself on juggling it all. But then, out of nowhere, sleep stopped cooperating. "I used to sleep like a rock," she told us. "Then suddenly, I'd wake up 3 times a night, heart racing, drenched in sweat. I'd lie there until morning, spiraling with anxiety." Her doctor initially suggested anxiety meds, but never mentioned hormones. It wasn't until she stumbled upon a podcast about perimenopause that the pieces finally clicked. "I cried," she admitted. "I realized this wasn't just me losing control, this was biology. And no one ever warned me." Why doctors often miss this: sleep issues are among the top complaints from women over 40, but rarely are they connected to hormonal changes. Many general practitioners still fail to link insomnia to perimenopause unless the patient explicitly asks. This lack of awareness leaves countless women struggling in silence, misdiagnosed, or simply told to relax or reduce stress. That's why this conversation matters. Backhand index pointing right. Leave a comment if no doctor ever mentioned this to you. You're not alone, and your story deserves to be heard. What can you do? Awareness is the first step. Once you understand what's happening in your body, you can start making informed changes. Track your symptoms, mood swings, sleep changes, hot flashes. Keep a journal. Talk to a menopause-literate doctor. Ask specifically about perimenopause and hormonal testing. Consider natural sleep support. Herbs like valerian root, magnesium glycinate, and melatonin, with guidance, can support your rhythm. Reduce evening cortisol spikes. Gentle movement, journaling, or avoiding doom scrolling before bed can make a huge difference. You're not going crazy. You're not weak. You're shifting, biologically, hormonally, emotionally, and the good news is, there are answers, solutions, and a community that gets it. The bigger picture: sleep is not a luxury, it's your nervous system's reset button. Without quality sleep, your immune system, mood, weight, memory, and even relationships suffer. That's why understanding perimenopause isn't just about hormones, it's about reclaiming your health and clarity, and you don't have to walk through it alone. Before you go, you've just uncovered one of the most important, yet most ignored, pieces of the perimenopause puzzle. If you found yourself in Karen's story, or in your own sleepless nights, know this: you are not imagining things. Perimenopause is real. Its impact on your sleep is real. And the more we talk about it, the more empowered we all become. Leave a comment below. Has this been your experience too? Has anyone ever connected your sleep to your hormones? Let us know, and don't forget, subscribe to Glow Beyond 50 for the rest of this series. There's so much more no one told us, until now. The truth about hormones and sleep, why your body betrays you at night. You crawl into bed exhausted, praying for just one solid night of sleep. But as soon as your head hits the pillow, your mind races. Your skin prickles with heat. You kick off the blankets, then shiver minutes later. By 3 a.m., you're staring at the ceiling, wondering if you'll ever sleep normally again. What you're experiencing isn't just bad luck, it's a biological rebellion. During perimenopause, your hormones don't just fluctuate, they wage war on your sleep architecture. Let's expose the invisible culprits stealing your rest, and how to fight back. Point 1. Your hormonal rhythm, the broken conductor. Sleep isn't passive. It's a meticulously choreographed dance between estrogen, progesterone, cortisol, and melatonin. hormones that now behave like uninvited guests at a party. Estrogen's curfew violation. This hormone regulates serotonin, your calm neurotransmitter. When estrogen plunges, as it does erratically in perimenopause, your brain struggles to produce GABA, the brake pedal for your nervous system. Result? You lie there with a mind that won't quit, even when your body begs for mercy. Progesterone's disappearing act, nicknamed nature's Valium, progesterone promotes deep sleep by calming neural activity. But in perimenopause, levels can drop by 75%, Journal of Clinical Endocrinology, 2023. No wonder you wake at every creak of the house. Science-backed fix *, low-dose progesterone cream, OTC, at bedtime can help 68% of women fall asleep faster, *, reports Dr. Sarah Gottfried. Always consult your doctor first. 2. Cortisol. The nighttime saboteur. Cortisol should follow a strict schedule, high at dawn, low by dusk. But perimenopause turns this rhythm upside down. The 2 a.m. cortisol spike, stress plus hormonal chaos trick your adrenals into pumping cortisol at night, mimicking a fight or flight alert. This is why you bolt awake with a racing heart. Your body thinks it's time to outrun a tiger. The vicious cycle: poor sleep, higher cortisol, worse sleep. Weight gain, especially belly fat, even more cortisol. A 2024 UCLA study found perimenopausal women with high nighttime cortisol had 62% more sleep interruptions. Actionable solution: 4-7-8 breathing. Inhale for 4 seconds, hold for 7, exhale for 8. This hack lowers cortisol in 90 seconds. Harvard Health, Adaptogens. Try ashwagandha or rhodiola, herbs clinically shown to blunt cortisol spikes by 28%, NCBI study, point 3. Melatonin's midlife crisis. Your pineal gland produces less melatonin with age, but perimenopause accelerates the decline. Worse? Blue light from screens, yes, even your Kindle, slashes melatonin by 23%. Sleep Medicine Reviews, 2023. Hack your sleep hormone, eat melatonin-boosting foods, tart cherries, walnuts, and oats at dinner. Red light therapy, a 10-minute session at night can increase melatonin by 50%. Journal of Pineal Research, point 4. The estrogen-insulin connection, the hidden sleep thief. Here's what doctors rarely mention: estrogen helps regulate blood sugar. When it dips, your cells resist insulin, causing nighttime crashes that wake you up starving or drenched in sweat. Fix it tonight. Pair carbs with protein/fat. Try almond butter plus apple slices before bed. Magnesium glycinate. This mineral improves insulin sensitivity and GABA activity. Dose: 300 to 400 mg nightly. Your turn to take back the night. These aren't just tips, they're counterattacks against the hormonal chaos hijacking your sleep. Start with one solution tonight. Track changes for a week. Your body can relearn how to rest. The woman who understands her hormones holds the key to her own sleep. Don't stop here. This is just part 3 of our perimenopause sleep series. Next week, we'll reveal how to reset your circadian rhythm in 7 days, using military sleep science. Do this now, subscribe, hit bell, so you don't miss the next life-changing video. A comment: my worst sleep symptom is _____________. We'll feature your stories. Share with a friend who's also battling 3 a.m. wake-ups. Together, we'll turn sleepless nights into a solved problem. 4. The 3 faces of perimenopausal insomnia. Have you ever laid in bed, eyes wide open, feeling like your body forgot how to fall asleep? Or maybe you drift off just fine, only to jolt awake at 3:11 a.m., heart racing. Or you wake up at 5 a.m., bone tired, knowing you still needed 2 more hours. You're not alone. And you're not broken. There isn't just one kind of insomnia during perimenopause. There are 3 major faces of this invisible thief of rest, and knowing which one you're facing is the first step to reclaiming your sleep and your sanity. Let's break it down. Point 1. Difficulty falling asleep, the arousal loop. This is the one where you're physically exhausted, but your brain is wide awake, like a hamster running on a wheel. You've had a long day, maybe even a hard workout, and all you want is rest. But as soon as your head hits the pillow, your mind starts racing. Did I reply to that email? What's that bump on my arm? Why did my friend sound off earlier? Before you know it, it's been 90 minutes, and you're still staring at the ceiling. This is the result of a nervous system stuck in on mode, what experts call hyperarousal. It's when the brain can't shift from go to rest. Hormonal fluctuations, especially lower progesterone, which has a natural calming effect, make this even worse. For many women in perimenopause, this is a nightly struggle. Point 2. Middle of the night. Waking, the anxiety spike. This is the classic 2 to 4 a.m. wake up, and it's brutal. You wake suddenly, often with a start. Sometimes you're sweating. Sometimes your heart is pounding. Sometimes you're not sure why you woke up at all. It's a mix of things. A drop in estrogen can cause temperature dysregulation, night sweats, cortisol, your stress hormone, often spikes in early morning hours, and even mild anxiety gets amplified in the silence of the night. This kind of insomnia often brings a sense of dread. You want to sleep, but you can't. You check the clock. You try deep breathing. You try counting backwards. Nothing helps. You dread the alarm clock, knowing you'll face the day exhausted again. Point 3. Early morning waking, the anticipation trap. Then there's the third kind. You fall asleep fine, sleep through the night, but wake up way too early, like your body's internal clock is broken. It's 4:57 a.m., and your mind switches on. You can't go back to sleep, even though your body is pleading for it. This is often tied to decreased melatonin production and a disrupted circadian rhythm. But there's also an emotional layer, anticipation, often unconscious. As women take on more responsibilities, aging parents, teenage kids, demanding jobs, your brain can start preparing for the day while it's still dark outside. The result? You start the day depleted, emotionally fragile, and more reactive. It's like beginning a marathon without breakfast or water. The 3 a.m. model: arousal, anxiety, anticipation. To make sense of these patterns, sleep researchers often refer to the 3 a.m. model of insomnia, which fits perimenopause perfectly. Arousal: your nervous system is too activated to fall asleep. Anxiety: emotional or hormonal surges disrupt sleep in the middle of the night. Anticipation: mental tension or disrupted hormones cause early waking. What's important to know is none of this is your fault. You're not bad at sleep. You're not lazy. You're not overreacting. You're dealing with a neurohormonal transition that most of us were never prepared for. What you can start doing tonight. We'll go deeper into tools and solutions in upcoming parts. But here's a quick preview to help you match the fix to your sleep problem. If you struggle falling asleep, try body scans, journaling 30 minutes before bed, magnesium glycinate, and no screens 1 hour before sleep. If you wake in the middle of the night, consider guided meditations or audiobooks, cooling your room, and balancing blood sugar in the evening. If you wake up too early, evaluate morning light exposure, get natural light early, consistent bedtime, and avoiding caffeine afternoon, and most importantly, track your sleep patterns. Knowledge is power, and clarity. Kathy's story. I thought I was just bad at sleep. Kathy, 52, a project manager from Minnesota, told us, I used to think I was just a terrible sleeper. I'd go to bed at 10:30 p.m. and be awake again at 1:45, 3:12, and 5:10. I was so ashamed of how tired I always felt. I thought something was wrong with me. But it was perimenopause. No one ever said the word to me. Her story isn't rare. It's one of millions. But the moment she understood the pattern, she stopped blaming herself and started working with her body, not against it. Sleep is not a luxury, it's a lifeline. You don't have to settle for fragmented nights and foggy days. You deserve rest. You deserve clarity. You deserve to feel like you again. So, which one sounds like your night? Drop it in the comments. You're not alone, and your story helps others feel less alone too. Want a full bedtime checklist? Subscribe and stay tuned, because in the next part, we'll talk about how your bedroom may be sabotaging you, and what you can do about it, starting tonight. 5. To brain fog, fatigue, and the vicious cycle. Have you ever walked into a room and completely forgotten why you were there? Or stared at your computer screen for minutes, trying to recall a simple word like appointment or groceries? This isn't just forgetfulness. This is the mental fog of perimenopause, and when it collides with chronic sleep deprivation, it becomes a vicious cycle that affects everything: your memory, energy, work performance, and even your relationships. 4. Many women aged 45 to 65, brain fog isn't a vague feeling. It's a real, disruptive phenomenon. And too often, it's dismissed as aging or stress when it's actually something deeper, and very much hormonal. What exactly is brain fog? Brain fog isn't a medical diagnosis, but it's a very real experience. Women describe it as feeling disconnected or spaced out, struggling to find words mid-sentence, forgetting appointments, names, or why they walked into a room, trouble focusing or completing tasks. One woman described it as having 17 browser tabs open in your mind, but none of them are responding. During perimenopause, estrogen and progesterone, two hormones that directly influence brain function, fluctuate dramatically. Estrogen affects the hippocampus and prefrontal cortex, both essential for memory and executive function. When estrogen dips, so does clarity. Meanwhile, progesterone, which has calming, neuroprotective effects, also drops, leaving the brain more exposed to stress, overactivity, and, combined with poor sleep, fatigue that doesn't go away, the vicious cycle. Poor sleep, fog, fatigue. Poor sleep. Sleep is essential for brain detox. Every night, your brain literally washes itself, clearing out metabolic waste through the glymphatic system. When you don't get enough deep, uninterrupted sleep, these toxins linger, impairing cognitive function. You wake up tired, your mind is cloudy, and it's harder to concentrate. This often leads to increased caffeine intake, less motivation to exercise, poor food choices, mood swings, and, ironically, more trouble falling asleep later. And so the cycle continues. The story of Maribel. I forgot to pick up my son. Maribel, 49, is a graphic designer and mom of 2 from Chicago. She shared a moment that changed everything. One afternoon, I was working on a deadline. I lost track of time. The school called. My son had been waiting 40 minutes. I had never forgotten him before. I was horrified. I cried the whole way. There. I felt broken. That's when I started Googling memory loss women 40s, and the word perimenopause came up. No one told me it could feel like this. Her story is far too common. What makes it worse is the shame that comes with it. Many women feel embarrassed to admit they're struggling, especially in workplaces, where sharpness and productivity are valued. You are not failing, your brain is calling for help. Let's be clear, this is not about laziness. It's not a lack of effort. It's not just stress. It's your brain trying to adapt to hormonal turbulence, sleepless nights, and the mounting responsibilities that many women face at this life stage. And when your energy is drained, even the smallest tasks can feel overwhelming. Fatigue isn't just physical, it's mental, emotional, spiritual. It's the weight of everything, all at once. How to support your brain during perimenopause. The good news? There are ways to gently support your brain and break the cycle. Point 1. Prioritize sleep like medicine. Start here. Sleep isn't optional, it's the foundation. If you haven't already, go back to part 4 and rewatch our guide to identifying your type of insomnia and optimizing your bedtime. Point 2. Feed your brain. Consider foods rich in omega-3s, like salmon, walnuts, chia seeds, antioxidants, berries, leafy greens, and B vitamins, whole grains, eggs. Hydrate well. Supplements like magnesium, L-theanine, and even creatine, yes, the one for muscles, have shown promise in supporting cognitive health. Want my full supplement checklist? It's in the video description below. Point 3. Move your body. Exercise isn't just for the body, it stimulates brain-derived neurotrophic factor, BDNF, which supports memory and learning. Even a 20-minute walk can change your mental state. Point 4. Write things down without shame. Use sticky notes. Keep a journal. Make lists. There is zero shame in needing external memory support during a time when your internal processor is under repair. Point 5. Talk about it. Sharing what you're going through, whether with a friend, therapist, or online community, can release the pressure valve and remind you that you are far from alone. When to seek help. If your brain fog is interfering with work, relationships, or daily functioning, it may be time to talk to a healthcare provider. Ask specifically about hormonal testing, thyroid function, nutrient deficiencies, cognitive screening. Not all brain fog is due to perimenopause, but if it is, it deserves to be addressed with compassion and strategy. Your brain is still brilliant, just in transition. This phase isn't the end of your cognitive power. Many women report that once they understand what's happening and make supportive changes, their clarity returns, often stronger than before. You're not losing it. You're reconfiguring. So if you've ever said, I don't feel like myself anymore, know that you're in the right place. And you're not alone. CTA, share your story. If this story felt familiar, share this video with someone who needs to hear it. And if you've ever whispered, what's wrong with me? Leave a comment. Let's talk about it. Subscribe to keep following the full series, because what's coming next might just change your nights and your days. 6. How perimenopause affects your nervous system. Have you ever felt like your body was on edge all the time, even when there's no clear reason? Maybe your heart races when you're just sitting on the couch. Or you're exhausted, but can't seem to relax enough to fall asleep. These are not signs of weakness, they're signs that your nervous system is working overtime. And perimenopause might be the reason. Perimenopause doesn't just mess with your hormones. It affects every system those hormones regulate, including your nervous system. When estrogen and progesterone begin to fluctuate or decline, your brain and body's ability to regulate stress, rest, and emotion can shift dramatically. Understanding this connection is key to reclaiming both your calm and your sleep. Let's break it down. The two nervous systems at war. Your nervous system has two branches, the sympathetic and the parasympathetic. The sympathetic nervous system, SNS, is your fight or flight system. It's great in emergencies. But when it's chronically activated, stress, insomnia, and hormonal chaos, it becomes your worst enemy. The parasympathetic nervous system, PNS, is your rest and digest mode. It slows the heart rate, calms the body, and helps you sleep. In perimenopause, the SNS often becomes overactive, while the PNS becomes underused. This means your body stays in a heightened state of alert, even when you're trying to relax. Here's how that plays out. You lie in bed, physically tired, but your mind is racing. You wake up at 2 a.m., heart pounding, thinking about tomorrow's to-do list. You feel emotionally raw, snapping at people, or bursting into tears. Hormones like estrogen and progesterone help regulate your brain's response to stress. As they decline, your nervous system loses its buffer. Everyday life starts to feel like an emergency. And sleep, something that once came naturally, now feels like a battle. Physical signs: your nervous system is on overdrive, restless legs or body tension, heart palpitations or fluttering, digestive changes, bloating, constipation, or urgency, tingling in hands or feet, jaw clenching or teeth grinding at night. Sound familiar? Many women report feeling wired but tired, the sensation of being exhausted but unable to calm down. This isn't just mental. It's deeply physiological. Real story. Lisa, 52, and her racing mind. Lisa, a nurse practitioner from Colorado, always prided herself on staying calm under pressure. But once she hit her 50s, everything changed. I would get home, totally drained, but I couldn't fall asleep. My heart would race for no reason. I'd replay conversations in my head. Did I say something wrong? I couldn't stop thinking. I felt like I was living in fast forward while my body begged for pause. After dozens of sleep studies, she found no diagnosis. It wasn't until she attended a women's health workshop that someone suggested the words, nervous system dysregulation, due to perimenopause. It was a lightbulb moment. The cortisol connection. Estrogen and progesterone are not the only hormones affected during perimenopause. Cortisol, the body's primary stress hormone, becomes harder to regulate. Normally, cortisol follows a daily rhythm, high in the morning, tapering off at night. But when your body is stressed, inflamed, or under hormonal pressure, that rhythm gets disrupted. This leads to waking up at 3 a.m. with your mind racing, feeling wired at night, even when tired, getting energy crashes during the day. This cortisol chaos can fuel adrenal fatigue, worsen insomnia, and even lead to burnout. How to rebalance your nervous system. You can't stop perimenopause, but you can support your nervous system through it. Here are some powerful practices. 1. Breathwork. Activate your parasympathetic system. Techniques like box breathing or the 4-7-8 method. Inhale 4, hold 7, exhale 8, can instantly calm your nervous system. Do it every night before bed. Point 2. Cold and warm exposure. Alternating between warm showers and brief cold exposure, even splashing cold water on your face, can help retrain your vagus nerve, part of the parasympathetic system. Point 3. Magnesium and glycine. These supplements support muscle relaxation and calm excitatory brain activity. They've shown promise in improving sleep and lowering anxiety. Point 4. Yoga nidra or gentle stretching before bed. This isn't about burning calories. It's about signaling to your body that it's safe to rest. 10 minutes of deep stretching or even lying in child's pose with soft music can do wonders. Point 5. Turn off the alerts. Silence your phone. Dim your lights. Stop the scroll. Your nervous system needs less input to recalibrate. Point 6. Seek emotional support. Whether it's therapy, coaching, or simply talking to a friend, expressing your emotions helps regulate the nervous system. Suppressed emotions keep your SNS activated. Point 7. Create a wind-down ritual. Tea, music, journaling, essential oils. Build a predictable routine that trains your brain to expect rest at night. Want my full checklist for calming your nervous system at night? It's in the video description, just below. Your body isn't betraying you. If you've been blaming yourself for your sleeplessness, restlessness, or anxiety, it's time to stop. Your body isn't malfunctioning. It's adapting to a major hormonal shift. And your nervous system, brave as it is, has been doing its best to keep up. You're not broken. You're in transition. With the right tools, knowledge, and support, you can rewire your rest and rebuild your calm. If your body has been trying to tell you something, and you're finally listening, click like and leave a comment. Let's talk about it, and don't forget to subscribe for the next part. We'll explore how your bedroom may be sabotaging your sleep without you realizing it. 7. Your bedroom is not helping. Have you ever considered that your bedroom, the very place meant to give you peace, might actually be part of the problem? For millions of women between 45 and 65, sleep has become a nightly battle. But the enemy isn't always hormones, anxiety, or age. Sometimes, it's the room itself, the lights, the sounds, the mattress you've had since your 30s. Let me tell you about Cynthia, 52, from Arizona. She called herself a night owl and thought waking up 4 or 5 times a night was just normal. I used to scroll through my phone in bed to wind down, she admitted. But then I'd lie there for hours, wide awake. When she began changing her sleep environment instead of just blaming her body, everything shifted. Your bedroom should be your sanctuary. But for many women in perimenopause, it's become a silent saboteur. Let's break it down. Point 1. Light, your worst sleep disruptor. Light is one of the most powerful regulators of melatonin, the hormone that signals your brain it's time to sleep. Unfortunately, most bedrooms today are lit up like airports: overhead LEDs, glowing alarm clocks, flashing electronics. Even small amounts of light, yes, like that nightlight or phone screen, can delay melatonin release by over an hour. If you're tossing and turning, check if your bedroom truly goes black when the lights are off. If not, consider blackout curtains, dimming lights 2 hours before bed, switching to warm, amber-toned bulbs, covering or removing electronic lights. Melatonin doesn't stand a chance if your room is lit like a screensaver. Point 2. Noise, the invisible agitator. You might not remember the dog barking at 3 a.m., the hum of your fridge, or your partner snoring, but your brain does. Even subtle noises can keep your nervous system in alert mode, especially when estrogen drops in perimenopause, lowering your body's ability to relax. Try white noise machines or soft rainfall sounds earplugs if you're sensitive. Asking your partner to see a sleep specialist. Snoring can be fixed. 3. Temperature. Your thermostat is not innocent night sweats, hot flashes, or just unexplained overheating. A common mistake is sleeping in a room that's too warm. The ideal sleep temperature is between 60 to 67 degrees Fahrenheit, 15 to 19 degrees Celsius. Your core body temperature needs to drop by at least 1 degree to initiate sleep. Simple solutions: lower the room temp at night, use cooling pillows or bamboo sheets, avoid heavy blankets unless needed for anxiety relief, and yes, if you're using flannel sheets in the summer, you're making it worse. Point 4. Your mattress, pillow and bedding, friends or foes. If your mattress is older than your kids', it's probably harming your back and your sleep. Perimenopause makes your joints more sensitive. The wrong mattress can lead to tossing, turning, and waking up sore. Ask yourself, is your pillow supporting your neck? Does your mattress trap heat? Are your sheets breathable? Invest in sleep-supporting materials: memory foam with cooling gel, medium firm support, pillows that suit your sleep position, side, back, stomach. Point 5. Your bedtime ritual: phone, Netflix, or peace. Scrolling on your phone in bed is like inviting chaos into your sanctuary. Blue light blocks melatonin. Dramatic videos spike cortisol. Emails spark anxiety. It's a recipe for insomnia. Try this instead: set a phone curfew. No screens 1 hour before bed. Read a real book or journal. Listen to calming music or meditation. There are apps made for perimenopausal women. Turn down the lights and slow your breathing. This is your transition from outer world to inner peace. Point 6. Emotional energy in the bedroom. For many women, the bedroom is emotionally loaded. It might remind you of fights with your partner, loneliness, the kids leaving, or your changing body. These invisible weights disrupt your sleep more than you think. Reclaim your room as a space for healing. Remove work clutter or reminders of stress. Keep journals or affirmations nearby. Use lavender spray or comforting textures. Rearrange furniture to feel more open and welcoming. You deserve a bedroom that feels like a retreat, not a battleground. Point 7. Routine, the unsung hero of great sleep. If your sleep is unpredictable, your routine probably is too. The body loves rhythm, especially when hormones are fluctuating. Start with going to bed and waking at the same time every day, using a bedtime alarm, not just a morning one. Doing the same calming activity each night. Think of it like muscle memory for your brain. Eventually, your body will start winding down on its own, if you give it the chance. The bedroom checklist: is your sleep ready? Here's a quick test. How many of these can you check off? Room is completely dark, noise is controlled, or mask temperature is cool, 60 to 67 degrees Fahrenheit. Mattress and pillow are supportive. No phone/screens 1 hour before bed. Routine is calming and consistent. Even improving just 1 or 2 of these can make a dramatic difference in your rest. Real talk: this isn't about perfection. Karen, 45, shared. It wasn't until I changed my room that I realized how much it mattered. I thought it was all in my head. It was in my environment. The truth is, perimenopause already makes sleep harder. But if your bedroom is working against you, even the best supplements or routines won't help. Rebuild your sleep sanctuary. Your rest depends on it. Want a full bedtime checklist tailored for perimenopause? Subscribe and stay tuned, because better nights start with better spaces. 8. The mouth tape debate and breathing for better sleep. It started with a scroll through TikTok at 1:12 a.m. Maria, 52, eyes wide open, searching for yet another remedy for the sleeplessness she couldn't explain. Her screen was filled with glowing testimonials about mouth tape. It changed my life, one influencer whispered. Another showed herself waking up looking blissful, rested, transformed. Out of desperation, Maria tried it. She pressed the small strip over her lips before bed, unsure whether she was being brave or ridiculous. That night, she woke up only once. The next night, she slept straight through. Welcome to one of the most polarizing sleep trends for women over 45. What is mouth taping? Mouth taping is the practice of placing a gentle adhesive strip over the lips before bed to encourage nasal breathing during sleep. While it sounds bizarre, or even dangerous, it's based on solid physiology. Nasal breathing warms, humidifies, and filters the air we breathe. It also promotes nitric oxide production, which plays a role in oxygen delivery and blood pressure regulation. In contrast, mouth breathing is often linked to snoring, dry mouth, sleep disruption, and even reduced oxygen saturation. So why is this suddenly everywhere? Because women in perimenopause are desperate for better sleep, and TikTok knows it. It's safe. This is where the debate heats up. Proponents claim that mouth taping leads to deeper, uninterrupted sleep and a calmer nervous system. Some women report it stops snoring, improves hydration, and reduces night waking, but critics warn against its use in people with certain conditions: sleep apnea, nasal congestion or deviated septum, anxiety or panic disorders. It's crucial to consult a healthcare provider before trying mouth tape, especially if you've never been evaluated for breathing disorders. If you choose to try it, start slowly. Use a breathable, hypoallergenic tape, never duct tape or anything not designed for skin. Consider trying it for short naps before committing to overnight use. Breath is the bridge. Whether or not mouth tape works for you, how you breathe at night and before sleep matters far more than we've been taught. When we are stuck in a sympathetic nervous system loop, fight or flight mode, our breath becomes shallow, chest-based, and fast. This keeps cortisol levels elevated and sleep far out of reach. Intentional breathing shifts the body into a parasympathetic state, calm, grounded, ready to rest. Let's talk about 2 practices you can try tonight. The 4-7-8 breathing technique. This method, developed by Dr. Andrew Weil, is simple yet powerful. Inhale through the nose for 4 counts, hold your breath for 7 counts, exhale slowly through the mouth for 8 counts, repeat for 4 rounds. This slows the heart rate, relaxes the body, and eases anxiety. Studies show that consistent practice can improve sleep onset and duration, especially in women experiencing hormonal changes. Box breathing, aka tactical breathing, originally used by Navy SEALs to regulate stress, this practice is now a favorite among therapists and mindfulness coaches. Inhale for 4 counts, hold for 4 counts, exhale for 4 counts, hold again for 4 counts, repeat for several minutes. It creates a rhythmic, meditative pattern that grounds your nervous system and helps break the cycle of nighttime worry. Story: the first night I breathed right, Cynthia, 45, never imagined breath would change her life. I used to try everything: melatonin, chamomile tea, white noise, she said. But I was still wired at night, like my body forgot how to relax. Then she learned about 4-7-8 breathing. I thought it sounded silly. I mean, counting your breath like a kid? But she tried it. 3 weeks in, her sleep tracker showed the first 7-hour stretch she'd had in months. It's not just sleep. I feel more myself. Let's be honest, not every trend is magic. Mouth taping isn't a miracle for everyone. But it's a conversation worth having. Because for women in perimenopause, everything changes, including the way we breathe, the way we sleep, and the way we heal. There's no one-size-fits-all. But your breath is a tool you always carry, and learning to use it might be one of the most powerful things you do this decade. Ever tried mouth taping? Tell us below. Or if you've discovered a breathwork practice that works for you, share it. Your story could help another woman feel less alone. And if you found this helpful, don't forget to subscribe. We're building a space for healing, one breath at a time. 9. Supplements that work, and ones that don't. What really helps you sleep, and what's just hype. You're exhausted, but sleep doesn't come again. So you reach for your phone, search best supplements for sleep, and instantly find yourself overwhelmed. Bottles promising deep rest, hormonal balance, calming herbs, and quick fixes, all with glowing reviews and hashtags like #wellness and #biohacking. But what actually works? In perimenopause, your body is shifting in ways you can't always feel, but that deeply impact how you sleep. Hormones like estrogen and progesterone, which once protected your sleep cycle, begin to decline. This makes you more vulnerable to stress, inflammation, and sleep disruption. It's no surprise you're looking for support. The question is, which supplements are worth your time and money? Let's break it down, starting with the ones that are backed by science. Magnesium. The sleeper's mineral magnesium is one of the most studied and recommended supplements for sleep, especially for women 45 and older. It plays a role in hundreds of biological processes, including muscle relaxation, nervous system regulation, and melatonin production. Magnesium glycinate, in particular, is praised for its calming effect without causing digestive discomfort. Some studies show it may help reduce sleep latency, the time it takes to fall asleep, and improve sleep quality, especially in people with insomnia. Dosage typically ranges from 200 to 400 mg per night. Too much can cause diarrhea, so start low and adjust as needed. L-theanine, calm without sedation, found naturally in green tea. L-theanine promotes a relaxed state without causing drowsiness. It increases alpha brain waves, the ones associated with calm focus, and may help reduce nighttime anxiety, which often spikes in perimenopause. This is a great option for women who don't want a heavy sedative but need help shutting off their racing thoughts. L-theanine can be combined with magnesium or melatonin for a synergistic effect. Glycine, small amino acid, big impact. Glycine is an amino acid that supports neurotransmitter function and body temperature regulation, both of which influence sleep. A 3-gram dose taken 30 to 60 minutes before bed has shown potential in improving sleep onset and reducing fatigue the next day. It's gentle, well tolerated, and doesn't leave you groggy. 5-HTP, the serotonin precursor. 5-HTP is a natural compound that the body uses to produce serotonin, which then helps create melatonin. While some users report better mood and sleep, it's important to note that 5-HTP can interact with antidepressants and other medications. It's not for everyone, and long-term safety hasn't been fully established. If you're considering 5-HTP, talk to your doctor first. Melatonin, the most misunderstood supplement. Melatonin is perhaps the most popular sleep aid, and also one of the most misunderstood. It's not a sedative, it's a signal. Melatonin helps the body recognize it's time to wind down, but it doesn't knock you out. For women in perimenopause, melatonin production can naturally decrease, so a small dose, 0.3 to 1 mg, may help realign your sleep-wake cycle. Taking too much, which many people do, can actually backfire, causing grogginess or vivid dreams. When used correctly, it can be part of a helpful evening routine, especially for those dealing with delayed sleep phase or irregular schedules. Now let's talk hype. Unfortunately, the wellness industry thrives on selling hope in a bottle. And not every supplement lives up to its claims. Valerian root is often promoted for sleep, but research results are mixed. Some people find it helpful, others feel no effect, and some report feeling hungover the next morning. CBD has become a trendy sleep aid, but again, results vary. Some women feel calmer with it, others feel nothing. Quality control is a major issue here, with many products containing inconsistent doses or impurities. Ashwagandha, an adaptogen, shows promise in stress reduction, which can indirectly support sleep. But evidence for direct sleep improvement is still emerging. And for some, it can be overstimulating. Always remember, just because it's natural doesn't mean it's safe or effective. The hidden costs beyond wasted money. The wrong supplement can lead to frustration, dependency, or interactions with other medications. Some women report trying 6 or 7 different pills without ever feeling truly rested, leading to a sense of hopelessness. This journey isn't about chasing magic pills. It's about understanding your body, your patterns, and finding gentle, consistent support. A gentle word on hormonal supplements. Some supplements claim to balance hormones, often using plant-based compounds called phytoestrogens. While these may help some women with mild symptoms, they're not regulated as medications and should be used cautiously. Black cohosh, red clover, and soy isoflavones are among the most common. But they're not suitable for everyone, especially those with hormone-sensitive conditions. Always check with your healthcare provider before starting anything new. What's actually worth trying? A balanced evening routine might include magnesium glycinate, 200 to 400 mg, L-theanine, 100 to 200 mg, a small dose of melatonin, 0.3 to 1 mg, if needed, herbal tea or warm golden milk, journaling or deep breathing practice. No one supplement will fix perimenopausal insomnia. But the right combination, used consistently, can create a meaningful shift. Affiliate suggestions in the video description below. I've shared a short list of high-quality, third-party tested supplements I trust. These are products I've used or recommended based on both science and real women's stories. If you decide to try them, your support helps keep this channel going and helps us reach more women who need this information. Story, the label promised rest. Lauren, 55, tried everything the ads suggested. I bought what was trending, what had the best reviews, she said. Some nights I took 3 different things just hoping for a break. But nothing worked until she simplified. Magnesium. A warm bath. 1 book. 1 breath. That's when her sleep began to return. It wasn't about more. It was about less noise, in her supplements, and in her mind. Check the video description for my top recommended supplements, and let me know what's worked for you. Your comment could be the one that helps someone else finally sleep. And don't forget to hit subscribe, your story matters here. 10 Sleep journals, gentle yoga and rituals that rewire sleep. There's something sacred about how we end the day. In a world that rarely slows down, the way we transition from the chaos of waking life to the vulnerability of sleep has the power to transform not just our nights, but our minds and bodies. For women between 45 and 65, this transition becomes even more critical. Sleep isn't just elusive, it's a daily battlefield. And if you've tried all the supplements, read all the blogs, and still find yourself staring at the ceiling at 2 a.m., it might be time to shift focus from quick fixes to slow, intentional rituals. Let's begin with something deceptively simple: the sleep journal. Sleep journaling isn't just about logging when you went to bed and when you woke up. It's about noticing the patterns that often go unseen. What did you eat? How stressed were you today? What emotions lingered as you lay in bed? When did you last check your phone? What thoughts circled your mind before sleep? By taking 5 minutes each evening to write down these answers, you begin to uncover your own sleep story. Many women report that once they began sleep journaling, they noticed their insomnia wasn't random. Certain foods, arguments, or even skipping their evening walk were often connected to a restless night. Others discovered that simply expressing their emotions on paper helped quiet their mind, allowing sleep to come more easily. Take Marcia, 61. After 2 years of interrupted sleep, she started journaling, reluctantly at first. Within 3 weeks, she noticed that her worst nights always followed days when she suppressed anger or skipped meals. Her journal didn't just track sleep, it became a mirror, revealing what her body had been trying to communicate for years. Another powerful tool is gentle yoga. We're not talking about vigorous workouts or bending like a pretzel. This is about deep stretching, breath awareness, and soothing the nervous system. 10 minutes of yin or restorative yoga before bed can be enough to calm racing thoughts, reduce cortisol, and signal to the body that it's safe to rest. The postures are simple: child's pose, legs up the wall, seated forward fold. The breath work is slow and rhythmic. And the effects? Profound. Studies show that women who practice nightly yoga report fewer awakenings and feel more refreshed upon waking. It's not just the body stretching, it's the mind unwinding. But here's where the real magic lies: in the ritual. In an age of overstimulation, creating a consistent bedtime ritual is a radical act of self-care. Your brain, especially during perimenopause, craves predictability. A structured evening sends a message: we're safe. It's time to rest. Your ritual doesn't need to be complicated. In fact, the simpler, the better. Here's an example. Dim the lights at 8:30 p.m. Switch to warm, amber lighting. Make a cup of herbal tea, chamomile, lavender, or lemon balm. Write in your journal. Reflect. Release the day. Do 10 minutes of gentle yoga or stretching. Breathe deeply. Try the 4-7-8 technique. Tuck into bed with a printed book, not a screen. When done consistently, this sequence becomes a signal to your nervous system. Over time, your body learns these actions mean sleep is coming. It's like training your brain through kindness. And for those who say, I don't have time, I ask, do you have time to feel exhausted every day? The 30 minutes you spend nurturing yourself at night will pay off tenfold in clarity, energy, and emotional resilience tomorrow. Let's not forget the emotional layer. Rituals aren't just physical, they're psychological. A nighttime routine can be your sanctuary, your personal temple. For women navigating the storms of perimenopause, where so much feels uncertain, a consistent ritual becomes an anchor. We received a letter from Claire, 53, who began her ritual with herbal tea and ended it in tears not from sadness, but from relief. For the first time in months, she wrote, I felt like I was taking care of myself instead of just surviving. Her ritual became her resistance to the rush of life and her return to softness. There's power in choosing to slow down. Power in saying no to emails after 8 p.m. Power in lighting a candle and whispering, I deserve rest. And maybe, that's what this is really about. Not just sleep, but reclaiming your right to peace. So tonight, instead of scrolling, try this: 1 page in your journal. 1 breath held for 7 seconds. 1 stretch that loosens your spine. 1 small act of devotion to your rest. You don't need a perfect routine. You just need to begin. Start your own bedtime ritual tonight, and tell us how it goes. Share your story in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more healing insights made just for you. 11. The silent marriage killer: sleep loss and relationships. It starts with something as small as irritation. Maybe your partner forgets to close the closet door again, or they breathe a little too loudly. What used to be minor quirks now trigger disproportionate reactions. You feel edgy, easily angered, and emotionally distant, and you don't know why. But here's the hidden truth: sleep deprivation can be a silent killer in relationships, especially during perimenopause. Let's talk about sleeping next to guilt. Lisa, 52, had always shared a loving relationship with her husband of 27 years. But something changed around her late 40s. She started waking up at 3 a.m. and couldn't fall back asleep. Her energy tanked. Her patience evaporated. I didn't recognize myself, she admitted. I hated the way I was snapping at him for nothing. Perimenopausal sleep disruption affects more than just your nights, it seeps into the quality of your intimacy, your communication, your very sense of connection. It's not just about being tired. It's about being emotionally unavailable, physically depleted, and hormonally imbalanced. During REM sleep, our brain processes emotions, regulates stress, and restores psychological balance. Without it, we're more reactive, anxious, and moody. Combine that with hormonal chaos, fluctuating estrogen, dips in progesterone, and it's a recipe for emotional instability. You might think, it's just me, or worse, something's wrong with my relationship. But many women in perimenopause face the exact same struggle. Studies from the North American Menopause Society, NAMS, show that 61% of women report significant changes in their romantic relationships during this phase, often triggered by sleep-related issues. Dr. Shelby Harris, sleep psychologist, writes, "Sleep is a cornerstone of emotional resilience, especially in midlife. Poor sleep diminishes libido. It reduces oxytocin, the hormone of bonding and trust. You're not just tired, you feel disconnected, undesired, even invisible." Lisa said, "We stopped cuddling at night. I pulled away without realizing it. And the more I withdrew, the more he felt rejected. It was like a silent wall was building between us." The good news? Awareness is the first step toward healing. You're not failing, your body is asking for support. Here's what helps. 1. Honest conversations. Instead of bottling things up, Lisa and her husband began having weekly check-ins. I explained what was happening hormonally, and for the first time, he understood I wasn't just being distant, I was exhausted. 2. Rebuilding touch. Small gestures like holding hands or a morning hug can reignite connection. Physical intimacy isn't always about sex, it's about showing up emotionally and physically for each other. 3. Prioritize sleep hygiene together. They replaced bright bulbs with amber lights, removed electronics from the bedroom, and committed to a shared bedtime routine. Sleep became a team effort, not a solo battle. 4. Couples therapy or sleep coaching. If resentment lingers, seeking professional help can be transformative. There's no shame in needing support. If you're reading this and nodding, you're not alone. There's nothing broken about you, or your relationship. Sleep loss during perimenopause is real, common, and treatable. So what's one thing you could try tonight to bridge the gap? A shared ritual? A note of appreciation? A moment of softness before bed? Let's bring compassion back into the bedroom. Send this to someone who needs to understand what you're going through. 12. Alcohol, caffeine and the nightcap myth. For many women navigating the stormy seas of perimenopause, a glass of wine or a warm cup of coffee feels like an anchor, a comforting ritual that signals the end or beginning of a chaotic day. But what if that nightly glass of wine you believe helps you sleep is actually stealing your rest? What if your daily caffeine hit at 3 p.m. is the reason you're staring at the ceiling hours later, exhausted but wide awake? Let's talk about the nightcap myth, the deeply embedded cultural belief that alcohol helps us wind down and sleep. There's a grain of truth to this. Alcohol is a sedative. It can help you fall asleep faster. But here's what they don't tell you: while it may knock you out quickly, alcohol disrupts the deeper stages of sleep, especially REM, the stage critical for memory consolidation and emotional regulation. A 2019 study published in Sleep Medicine Reviews found that even moderate alcohol consumption reduces sleep quality by as much as 24% in women over 45. That means you may be falling asleep faster but waking up more during the night, experiencing shallow sleep, and feeling groggy and unfocused the next day. Then there's caffeine. For most of us, it's part of daily life. That morning coffee, the mid-afternoon tea. But caffeine doesn't just disappear after your last sip. Its half-life, the time it takes for your body to eliminate half of it, is about 5 to 7 hours. That means if you have coffee at 3 p.m., half of that caffeine is still circulating in your system at 10 p.m. And for women in perimenopause, hormonal fluctuations can slow down caffeine metabolism. That 3 p.m. latte might be why your heart is racing at midnight or why your sleep feels lighter than ever. Let's take a moment to meet Janice, a 54-year-old nurse from Vermont. She always had coffee after lunch and enjoyed a glass of red wine before bed. "I thought I was just getting older," she said. "I couldn't sleep through the night anymore. I'd wake up at 1 or 2 a.m., hot and restless." It wasn't until her sleep coach asked about her evening habits that she even considered caffeine and alcohol could be the culprits. When she cut her wine and switched her coffee to a morning-only ritual, her sleep transformed within 2 weeks. "I still wake up sometimes," she said, "but I feel like my brain actually rests now." It's time to rethink our rituals. If you're sipping wine or espresso after 3 p.m., you may be unknowingly sacrificing your deepest rest. So what are some alternatives that support, rather than sabotage, your sleep? 1. Herbal teas. Chamomile, lemon balm, and valerian root have been shown to promote relaxation and sleep onset. 2. Golden milk, a warm blend of turmeric, cinnamon, ginger, and milk, dairy or non-dairy, that supports inflammation reduction and Nervous system regulation. Point 3. Warm water with magnesium powder, especially magnesium glycinate or citrate, which can help relax muscles and calm the nervous system. These small changes may not carry the same cultural comfort as your glass of Cabernet, but they serve your body better, especially when rest is no longer a luxury but a necessity. If you're skeptical, start small. Cut caffeine. Afternoon. Replace wine with tea just a few nights a week. Keep a sleep journal and observe what changes. It's not about giving up everything that brings you comfort. It's about learning what truly comforts your body in this stage of life. Sleep is not a passive act. It's an active investment in your health. And perimenopause is the time to pay closer attention to what your body is telling you. You deserve better sleep. You deserve to wake up feeling like yourself. Again, have you kicked caffeine after 50? What happened? Leave a comment and let us know. Your story might be the turning point for someone else. 13. When it's time to talk to a doctor. You've tried all the bedtime teas. You've dimmed the lights, put away your phone, even journaled your thoughts into the quiet of the night. And yet, sleep still feels like a stranger. For many women, navigating perimenopause, the road to restful nights can become a lonely, winding path of self-experimentation. But sometimes, the missing piece isn't another supplement or breathing technique. Sometimes, it's a conversation. A real, informed, collaborative conversation, with the right doctor. Let's be clear, not every sleepless night needs medical attention. Life throws curveballs: stress, grief, hormones, late-night coffee. But if you've been struggling with insomnia 3 nights a week or more, for over 3 months, and it's impacting your energy, your emotions, your work, or your relationships, it's time to seek help. This is what sleep specialists call chronic insomnia. And it's more than just a nuisance, it's a health issue that deserves respect and support. Karen, whom we met in part 1, reached this point after nearly a year of restless nights. At first, I blamed work stress, she recalled. Then I thought maybe I was just aging. But the anxiety before bedtime got worse. I felt like I was bracing for battle every night. When her doctor offered sleeping pills without asking about her hormones or perimenopause history, Karen left the appointment feeling dismissed, not supported, and that's a crucial piece of the puzzle, finding a doctor who understands the hormonal landscape of midlife women. Unfortunately, many general practitioners still don't ask about perimenopause when women mention sleep issues. They may treat insomnia as an isolated symptom, offering prescriptions for Ambien or suggesting basic sleep hygiene. But for women ages 45 to 65, insomnia is often a symptom of something deeper: shifting hormones like estrogen, progesterone, and cortisol, which dramatically affect the brain's sleep centers. This is where hormone therapy, HT, can come into the picture, not as a cure-all, but as a conversation starter. Let's pause here and acknowledge, hormone therapy is a controversial topic. You might have heard it's dangerous. You might have been told it's unnecessary. Or maybe it wasn't mentioned to you at all. But the science has evolved significantly in the last 2 decades, according to the North American Menopause Society. NAMS, hormone therapy, especially when started before age 60 or within 10 years of menopause, can be both safe and effective for treating sleep disturbances related to perimenopause and menopause. Estrogen helps regulate REM sleep, reduces night sweats, and can lower nighttime cortisol spikes that wake you up at 2 a.m. Progesterone, too, has natural sedative properties. Of course, HT isn't for everyone. Women with certain medical histories may need to avoid it. But dismissing it without discussion does a disservice to millions of women who could benefit. The key is personalized care, based on your symptoms, your health history, and your comfort level. So how do you find a provider who gets this? Start with these questions when booking a consultation. Do you have experience working with women in perimenopause and menopause? Are you familiar with hormone therapy, and what's your approach to discussing it? Would you be open to considering both hormonal and non-hormonal options? Can we talk about sleep in the context of my changing hormones, not just as an isolated issue? If your doctor brushes off these questions or seems uninformed, it's okay to seek a second opinion. Your body and your story deserve to be taken seriously. You deserve a partner in this process, not just a prescription. In addition to hormone therapy, some doctors may explore cognitive behavioral therapy for insomnia, CBTI, the gold standard. Non-drug treatment for chronic insomnia, sleep studies to rule out apnea or other disorders, lab tests to evaluate thyroid function, vitamin D levels, or adrenal health, all of which can influence sleep. Let's also not forget the emotional side of seeking help. Many women in midlife carry an invisible burden of silence. They feel like they should just push through it. Or they fear being labeled difficult, dramatic, or depressed. But asking for help doesn't make you weak, it makes you wise. In fact, acknowledging that your sleep disruption might be tied to something more systemic is a powerful act of self-trust. It says, I believe my experience is real. I believe my body knows what it needs. We know from recent studies that sleep disruption is one of the most reported symptoms of perimenopause, yet it remains one of the least discussed in medical settings. That needs to change. And it starts with women like you bringing these conversations to your doctor's office and beyond. At this point in your journey, you may feel tired, even defeated. But you are not alone. Thousands of women, millions, in fact, are walking this same path. And many have found relief not just from herbal teas and magnesium, though those help, but from finding a care team that listens. So here's your next step: open that journal. Write down your sleep history, your symptoms, your fears. Then, write down the questions you want to ask a doctor. Don't go into that appointment empty-handed. Go in empowered, and if you want a printable checklist of what to ask your doctor, drop a comment below. I'll be sharing a downloadable guide in the description. Your rest matters. Your story matters. You matter. Want a checklist of what to ask your doctor? Let me know in the comments. And if this video helped you feel heard, hit subscribe. We've still got 2 more chapters that could change the way you think about sleep forever. 14. You're not alone. Sleep stories from women like you. Insomnia during perimenopause can feel like a solitary battle. You lie awake at 3:17 a.m., listening to the ticking clock and the silence around you, wondering if anyone else in the world is going through the same thing. The truth is, millions of women are. And yet, so few are talking about it. That's why this chapter is dedicated to real stories, real voices, and real women who've walked this path before you, or who are walking it right now. Because the most powerful antidote to isolation is connection. Take Anika, 52, from Atlanta. For 2 years, she kept her insomnia a secret from everyone, including her husband. I thought it was just stress, she said. But when I realized I was crying in the shower just because I was tired every day, I knew something was wrong. She found an online forum for perimenopausal women and finally felt seen. It was like someone turned the light on in a dark room, she said. I wasn't crazy. I wasn't broken. I was perimenopausal. Then there's Janet, 59, who sent us a handwritten letter. She described her experience with precision. It started with waking at 2 a.m. Then came the racing thoughts, the body aches, and the emotional exhaustion. I'd walk through the day like a ghost. When I saw your video, I cried. Not out of sadness, but because I felt understood. Sleep loss affects more than just energy, it touches every aspect of our lives. Relationships, work, memory, self-worth. But it's also the silence that hurts most. So many women feel like they're the only ones failing, the only ones too weak to handle this phase of life. But the silence is a lie. This is not a personal failure. It's a global, biological reality. Let's look at the data. According to a survey by the National Sleep Foundation, over 61% of women aged 45 to 60 report difficulty sleeping at least 3 nights a week. The North American Menopause Society estimates that up to 70% of perimenopausal women experience some form of sleep disturbance. And yet, only a fraction of them ever receive any meaningful guidance. Why aren't we talking about this more? 1. Reason is stigma. Many women are raised to be caregivers, not care receivers. We're taught to push through, to be grateful, to just deal with it. The idea of asking for help, or even admitting we're struggling, feels like a failure. But it's not. It's a step toward healing. Another reason is misinformation. Many healthcare providers still don't receive adequate training on perimenopause. As a result, women are often misdiagnosed with anxiety, depression, or simply told to relax or try melatonin. But this goes deeper. This is hormonal, neurological, emotional, and it requires more than a sleeping pill. In the comments and messages we've received, we've seen recurring themes: the shame of admitting sleeplessness, the guilt of being irritable with loved ones, the despair of feeling like you're disappearing. But also, the relief of being heard, the power of sharing, the strength of sisterhood. Emma, 47, wrote, I used to think I was the only one who woke up every night at 3 a.m. wondering if I'd ever sleep normally again. Now, I know I'm part of a circle, a global circle of women reclaiming our stories. That's the vision behind this channel. To create a space where you're not just a viewer, but a voice. A space for community, healing, and support. A digital healing circle. If you're new here, this isn't just about science. It's about stories. And your story matters. Maybe you've never shared it. Maybe you've never even said it aloud. But tonight, you can start. Drop your experience in the comments. It doesn't have to be long or dramatic. Just real. Just you, because someone else might read your words at 3 a.m. with tears in her eyes, realizing she's not alone. That's the ripple effect of courage. That's the power of connection, and for those who've already shared, thank you. Your stories build the scaffolding for others to find their voice. Your honesty is a lifeline. Let's keep growing this space. Share this video with someone you know is struggling. A sister. A friend. A coworker. Because we never know who's fighting a silent battle behind a smile. This isn't just about sleep. It's about being seen. If you felt invisible, unheard, or dismissed, it ends here. This is your space. Your night. Your healing, and if you believe in this mission, if this video or this channel has made you feel less alone, help us keep it going. Support the work. Subscribe, comment, share. It may seem small, but to someone awake in the dark, your action could mean everything. We'll leave you with this quote from Dr. Shelby Harris: "Sleep isn't a luxury during menopause, it's survival." And we'll add, community isn't optional, it's the cure. You're not alone, share your story. Someone out there is waiting to hear it. 15. Sleep is sacred, reclaiming rest, reclaiming you. For years, you've been told to push through. You've been told that this is just a part of aging, just hormones, just stress. You've heard, it's normal, so many times that you've started to question your own instincts. But here's the truth: just because something is common, doesn't mean it's acceptable. Sleep is not a luxury. It is sacred. By now, you've learned that perimenopause doesn't just disrupt your cycles. It disrupts your sense of identity. It creeps into the quiet of night and slowly steals your ability to recover, to think clearly, to connect with others, to feel like yourself. But this final chapter isn't about loss. It's about reclamation. Reclaiming rest means returning to yourself. Let's revisit what we've uncovered. You've seen how hormonal fluctuations, estrogen, progesterone, melatonin, and cortisol, shape the landscape of your sleep. You've learned that there isn't just one kind of perimenopausal insomnia, but many, and they each leave unique fingerprints on your life. You've discovered that your nervous system, your environment, your routines, even your breath, all contribute to your ability to fall and stay asleep. You've heard from women like you: Karen at 2:47 a.m., Maribel in the school parking lot, Janet with her handwritten letter, Anika sobbing silently in the shower. You've met the guilt, the brain fog, the silence, the shame, and the courage that blooms anyway. So what now? Now comes the most important part: living as if rest matters. Because it does. Not just biologically, but spiritually, emotionally, personally. That means making sleep a non-negotiable. Not in a rigid, perfectionist way, but in a compassionate, conscious way. It means saying no to the things that erode your energy, and yes to the small rituals that nourish you. It means rewriting the stories you've been told about what it means to be tired, to be aging, to be a woman. You are not lazy. You are not weak. You are adapting, evolving, surviving, and now, thriving. Rest is resistance in a culture that expects you to perform at all costs. Sleep is power in a system that devalues your inner life. And healing? Healing is radical. Let's ground ourselves in what works. You now know the tools: magnesium, glycine, melatonin, 5-HTP. For some women, they help. For others, they don't. You've been introduced to breathwork, mouth tape, 4-7-8 breathing, gentle yoga, journaling, herbal teas. You've created bedtime checklists, minimized blue light, set boundaries. These are not gimmicks. They are your toolkit, but more than any supplement or routine, your greatest tool is awareness. You now know what you're facing. You've put a name to it: perimenopause. And names matter. They allow us to stop blaming ourselves and start understanding the truth, and when you understand, you stop suffering in silence. There's one more story I want to share. It's about Maya, 54. She'd gone almost 4 years without a single good night's sleep. She tried everything: white noise, blackout curtains, sleep apps. But nothing worked until she changed her mindset. "I realized I'd been approaching sleep like a problem to solve," she said. "But sleep isn't a math equation. It's a relationship. And I'd been neglecting it for years." So she started speaking to herself differently. Instead of saying, "Why can't I sleep?" she asked, "What is my body trying to say?" Instead of punishing herself for waking at 3 a.m., she'd gently guide herself back with breath, with kindness. Slowly, her nights changed. "Some nights I still wake up," she said. "But now I meet myself there. I don't abandon myself anymore." That is the work, that is the shift, that is how you reclaim you. We close this series not with a cure, but with a commitment to keep listening to your body, to keep trusting your instincts, to keep showing up for your rest. Sleep is not the enemy. Nor is your changing body. The enemy is silence, shame, and the outdated belief that women must suffer alone. You are not alone. This video, this channel, this space, exists so you never have to feel invisible again. If even one part of this journey has made you feel seen, heard, or supported, we invite you to support the work we're doing here. Your donation helps us keep creating healing, evidence-based content for women in perimenopause, menopause, and beyond. The link is below. We'll leave you with this: you are not broken. You are becoming. You are not fading. You are unfolding. You are not done. You are just beginning. Sleep is sacred. Reclaim it. Reclaim you. If this video helped you feel understood, please consider donating to support this mission. And don't forget to subscribe, comment, and share this video. Someone you love might need this tonight.